Shorter work weeks have been a trend and they'll continue to be a trend in the future. Here are some tips to approach your boss or really the workplace in general to have a shorter work week. If you like tips like these and you want a shorter work week, follow me for more. Shorter work weeks have been a thing for a while, and a lot of us have heard of summer hours, right? Where the work week is shortened because it's summer, but this type of thing can be done all year long. Obviously, the first thing that we want to think about is this even a possibility based on what kind of business it is, right? Let's say that, I don't know, it's an urgent care center or someplace that needs to be open all the time. A shorter work week might not work unless the staff is staffed up enough to be able to fit it within that work week. A shorter work week can be something that can be a staggered schedule. Some people work these days, some people work these days, but it makes sure that the work is covered entirely. And that is a possibility for your workplace. In order to do that, you got to look at what work needs to be done and who's doing what role and figure out, okay, is it possible to make this a shorter work week for some, for all? It all really depends. The other thing that I think is really important to understand is there are actual laws and processes around creating a shorter work week. We call it an A.W.S, an alternate work schedule. You may have heard of them. A 410, which is 4 days a week, 10 hours a day, that equals 40 hours, but it's only 4 days, or a 980. You work 9 days, and in those 9 days, you work 80 hours. There are certain processes like filing with the Department of Labor and certain things that have to happen. The group of workers that want to do it have to vote on it. They have to be notified of it. And paperwork has to be filed with the government because it is negating the overtime laws in that state, because if you work 10 hours a day in states like California, you have to pay overtime. So you have to let the Department of Labor know that you went through the proper processes in order to certify the work week and the alternate work schedule, the AWS, so that the government approves of it and then the employer doesn't pay overtime on a 410 or a 980. So there are some laws specific to states about shortening work weeks that also allow for not paying overtime on the basic laws that apply in that state. Make sure you check out your state and understand what an AWS is in your state.